Good afternoon, my name's Dale Mortenson. I'm an account manager with CHS Agronomy. I call on retail fertilizer and chemical dealers in eastern, central, and western Minnesota.
And I'm Andy Clauson, Key Agronomy Specialist with CHS, covering west central Minnesota and southeast North Dakota. Today we want to talk to you about phosphorus efficiency in your fertility programs. Dale, speaking of efficiency, how much phosphorus fertilizer is actually available the first year that we apply it?
So that's a great question, Andy. The reality is not nearly as much as growers think is available. So in a grower survey that we did, the average amount of available phosphate that growers think they get is 60% of applied phosphate. Now that's an average of anywhere of a response from 30 to 80%. The reality is that only less than 20%, even on the best soil, is available in a given year. And on most soil, it's even considerably less than that. For instance, if a farmer were to apply 150 pounds of applied phosphate at a cost of, let's say, $36 or $37 an acre, their perception is that if 60% of it is available, that they're losing $14.50 worth of what they spent. The reality is, at only 20% available, they're spending $36 or $37, and they're getting $29 of it tied up in the first year. That's a reality that's not friendly to them.
So Dale, with so little phosphorus available from that first year application, what can we do to make that phosphorus more available the first year to maximize our yield potential?
Well, Andy, what we've been doing over a number of years is working on a chelate technology and a series of products that fall under what we call the Levosol brand or Levosol family of products. And within that family of products, there are products that we put a chelate into starter fertilizers, for instance, to make the phosphate fertilizer more available so that it doesn't interact with cations like zinc, manganese, copper, and iron. And then most recently a product we've launched called Tribar. Tribar is the next kind of the next step in the chelate technology to take protecting phosphate or making it more available to the broadcast market rather than just the in-furrow market.
So Dale, you mentioned the Levosol family of products. What would be the best 2-3 options within that Levosol family for products for us to use in this geography?
Andy, in this part of the world where you have row crops like corn and soybeans, sugar beets, dry beans, it's relatively diverse. I would say that in the starter fertilizer world where we would put an additive in to be for phosphate efficiency, we'd use a product called Levosol Zinc, and that would go in like Accelerate or 723.5. The Tribar that we just mentioned earlier is relatively new, that we're approaching the broadcast phosphate market for broadcast dry phosphate fertilizer. And then if you want to look for an all-in-one starter fertilizer, there's a product called CHS Lumen that will work perfect in virtually every row crop situation where you want to put an in-furrow fertilizer. Low salt and wonderful for crop safety.
So Dale, of those 3 products that you mentioned, Levosol Zinc and CHS Lumen, those are in-furrow products that are chelated. Fantastic products. Now, why would I need to chelate my broadcast phosphorus fertilizer?
Well, the answer, Andy, is that basically explained in the name of what we call a starter fertilizer or pop-up fertilizer. So a starter fertilizer goes on in a linear foot of row and a dribble, and it's really designed to get the corn out of the ground as a pop-up or a starter, and it's designed to get the corn to like V4 or V5. So I'll ask you, when the corn gets to V4 or V5, where are the roots?
Well, the roots equal the shoots and are growing out.
So understanding that even though we just put some fertilizer on to get it going, as the roots go further away from the furrow, we actually need to source phosphate from our broadcast fertilizer market or from our overall fertilizer program. So knowing that, if you think that you need to protect your phosphate or make it more available if you put it on in furrow, wouldn't it make sense that you'd want to protect or make your phosphate more available when you broadcast it across the acre, so that when you work it in and the roots are looking for phosphate, that it is more available.
Dale, one last question. When we talk to growers about new products like this, we always get asked, what can we expect for more yield?
That's really common, Andy. We hear that all the time as well, and we do have lots of data from over the years of great yield response. But what we try to do is get growers to think about not just what can we get for a yield increase, because Mother Nature can always throw a clinker on that, but we want them to think about what they've invested in their seed and what the genetic potential starts out as, and that we want to do things to eliminate things that keep you from getting to that goal. And one of those things is phosphate tie-up. And what we can do with products like Levosol Zinc, Trivar, and CHS Lumen is make their dollars invested in phosphate more available and get closer to their genetic potential.
Thank you, Dale. This has been great information. For those of you that are interested in making your phosphorus more available this spring, talk to your local CHS Agronomy Sales Representative.